Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
Welcome to the Financial Independence Coach, naturally creating freedom, meaning, and wealth. Brought to you by Yefo Pty Ltd, in association with brandlive.co.za. And here is your host and coach, Yvonne E. Ventilo.
Good morning, Brand Live streamers and Yefo Pty subscribers. Yes, it's Monday morning. You have joined the Financial Independence Coach, recording here live at 27 Boxes. Well, most of you regulars know that I absolutely love my coffee. And today, I've got a treat of introducing you to the man behind Coffee Republic, Jaco. Welcome, Jaco.
Hi, Yvonne. Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. I hope you brought some coffee with.
I did in the car, but it's beans, so you have to chew on it.
Oh, damn. No, I'll just ground them. Jaco, now, your story is a fascinating story for me, being as an entrepreneur and looking at your background. Now, first of all, tell our listeners, where exactly does Jaco come from?
So I was born in the Northwest, part of a farming community, to be honest. But then moved to Bloem in primary school with my parents, and I grew up there and stayed there for about 18 years, where I studied a bit. And then from there I went to Pretoria for a year, where I worked, and then came to Joburg. So I've been in Joburg now for going on 12 years now. So this is home now. I'm a big fan. I'm a stone's throw away from 27 Boxes. Live 2 blocks from here, so this is my valley. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. So you know the area and you love
quite
it.
Well. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, Jaco, Coffee Republic.
Yes.
Where did that all start?
So I never planned to go into entrepreneurship. So being taught a very good work ethic from a young age. I always worked on weekends since the age of 14 or 15, and then sold anything from handmade stuff from home or vegetables on the farmers market in Bloemfontein while we were in primary school and high school. But never the plan to go into entrepreneurship per se and run my own thing. It was more out of necessity. I quit my job back in 2011. And then tried initiatives with some friends that didn't work out financially. So then another friend of mine said, "Hey, let's start a coffee shop." So I sold my car and took some loans from my family and friends, and then we started a coffee shop way back in 2012. And during that period of running the coffee shop, I did some backward integration research about how to roast as well, and that's why I started with Roast Republic. So that was back in 2013 with a very simple idea. I always had this thing on my back that I want to make a difference. So what we do from the roasting side of things is we roast and sell fresh coffee, and then 50% of our gross profit we give away towards educational development in South Africa, towards our charity, which is called Foundation for Safe South Africa. They're involved in 50 sites nationally, and they serve about 48,000 kids around the country, so amazing people, so very happy to partner with them.
So in all, you have gone from the natural salesman to, like you said, out of necessity created.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say I'm a natural salesman. I'm a natural connector rather. So I'm a great at sales. I'll be very honest with that. I'm very good with connecting with people. I love people. I love connecting over a cup of coffee. I spend way too much money pre my coffee industry in coffee shops. So it was actually a bit of a saving to have my own coffee shop where I got the things at cost price. But I love connecting. Connecting was my passion. With other people. Sales, not that much. I need to work on that. That's something that I'm not the best at.
Well, like one of my mentors, Barry Mitchell, says, your sales all start with how you connect with people, and they're not vomiting your product onto them, but actually resolving their problems by providing a solution.
Yeah. not that thirst is a big problem, I think. So in our industry, it's quite interesting that it's a luxury item, obviously. So it's not out of need or necessity. Well, depends on who you ask, I suppose.
Yeah, well, if you ask me, then coffee is a need.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is
Where
definitely.
does it fit into your hierarchy of needs?
Well, put it this way, and do not quote me on this. I live on caffeine and nicotine,
Okay.
which is not good, but that's where it fits in my hierarchy.
I think there's a song about that somewhere. Anyway.
Now you ask me.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah.
remember. But Jaco, starting up your business, obviously it wasn't an easy process to go through. Like I said, you had the first initiative with some friends that didn't work out financially. Now, what I've seen and through my years in the financial industry and working with quite a few entrepreneurs and sole proprietors, is that a lot of people quit at that initial first struggling blocks.
yeah.
What kept you motivated? What kept you moving forward?
A good combination, I think, of stupidity and not knowing better and believing in our cause. I think at the end of the day, I think that was the main thing, being resilient and knowing what I believed to be true and what I wanted to do with my life. So I think that helped a lot. And maybe also due to the lack of other opportunities, just this is what I have and I had to make this work. A combination of a lot of the above. But because it's tricky to build your own thing. And it's not having a financial background or business background per se or marketing background. I learned a lot of lessons. I bumped my head a lot of time and paid my school fees 2-3 times over sometimes, but at least I learned them in the end. But it was difficult and still is. I mean, the economy at the moment is a bit tricky. We find that as petrol prices go up, coffee sales go down. People still buy 1 or 2 coffees, but not 4 or 5 anymore every single day. Well, depending on who the customer is, but we've seen that quite a bit.
So it has gotten the impact on business itself.
Yeah, like especially the petrol price. We see that every month. If that goes up, there's a different impact on our sales.
Now, from the business aspect, Joe, you say you don't have a business background or marketing or financial background. How did you find building your business, up from that? The fact that you didn't have that background, did you find yourself a mentor or was it literally trial and error that you went through?
So a lot of trial and error. Tried to connect with people that were in the know that I could learn from. Read a lot. Watched a lot of YouTube videos. I also signed up with the Branson School of Entrepreneurship way back when they were still in Braamfontein. Learned a lot from them. That was a great learning curve for me. Mostly through the business, just boots on the ground, paying school fees, sorting things out. Again, through necessity, I think, having to sort them out and having to figure them out was quite key. For me, it was a great learning curve. I had to make a plan to equip myself and be more knowledgeable about the finer tricks of the trade. So that was quite fun.
Oh, fantastic. Now, you say you guys have the charity part of the business specifically aimed towards funding education. Tell me a bit more about
So
that.
we actually have 3 parts in the business: the roasting part, our own cafes, and also the enterprise development part. So on the roasting side, we give 50% of the gross profit away. On the shops we own, that was a strategy that I employed to have more sustainable long-term growth, because we had a lot of clients in the roasting side, but they would change their suppliers every so often, or they would go bankrupt. In 1 year, I lost 45% of all my customers due to the economy. I think that was 2013-14. That people quite struggled, so I lost a lot of clients back then. So the best way I thought to grow the roasting part of it was to have our own shops. But in your shops, you can't give away 50% of your GP. If you're in hospitality, you will never survive.
No, definitely
So
not.
there we just run a above-the-board ethical business. We power staff a bit more. Everything is biodegradable, compostable, so very eco-conscious and health-conscious as well. And then on the ED side as well, what we do is we procure funding from large corporates. They have to pay 1% of their net profit after tax towards enterprise development. We try and get that and then train entrepreneurs to run and own their own shops. Because in our industry, if you are a great barista or a great manager, you might not have access to capital or funding opportunities. So there's a real ceiling in terms of what you can afford on a monthly basis and what you can actually achieve in your life. So seeing that, we started this whole program and trained 35 entrepreneurs in hospitality, finance, HR, legal, and also we did the first ever accredited barista course in the country with INISA, an NQF level 5 that we trained the guys
fantastic.
on as well. And then so far we've been able to launch 2 entrepreneurs that own their own shops. One is on Empire Road by the BP on Empire, and the other one is opposite Monte Casino at Monte Circle. And these 2 entrepreneurs are on a program where they earn their way into the business. They get a normal salary and then profit share. And each month they get incrementally more profit share when they meet certain standards in terms of quality, service, controls, etc. And if they do that, they get every month a higher percentage until they have full profit share, and we transfer the business. So I do that with some
Fantastic. So
partners
it's
of
not
mine.
just creating job opportunities, but it's actually creating sustainable growth going forward for the person to be completely
Yeah,
independent.
and also, so they say if you create one job, you impact 7 lives in our country. But if you create an entrepreneur, you impact 20 lives. So it's a better way if we are. So our whole hashtag with Roast Republic is coffee with a conscience. Hence why the money towards charity. We passed off a bit more. But also this is a way of actually making a sustainable impact in our country, hopefully, on a small scale. We're still small. We've got 8 shops so far in Joburg. 9, if all goes well, in Feb. The 9th one will be going up in Bryanston if all goes well. So getting there slowly. I mean, but it's an interesting industry.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine, because everywhere you go, there's a whole variety of coffee shops. So it can be quite a tough market to
Yeah, I think
move
it's
into.
a tough market, but also I think most people go into hospitality with a very romantic idea that you just drink coffee with people the whole time. But
Oh,
there's actually a lot of moving parts that makes it very difficult. On a weekly basis, there's staff issues, stock issues, supply issues, payment issues from your larger clients as well that just forget to pay. So
Conveniently forget to pay, yes.
yeah, conveniently. So that makes life quite difficult at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, I know from my days in the hospitality industry, I used to, way back when, in another lifetime, had the pub and grill there in Windsor East.
Well, okay.
There behind the squash courts.
Oh yeah.
And it's not as romantic as everybody
No.
thinks.
It's, at its base, it's phenomenal. At its base, it's the best thing. We've got great clients, and things go well, and your staff pitch up for work. And then it's fantastic. But at its worst, it's very tricky.
It's stock deliveries that's late, wrong stock deliveries, staff issues that's not pitching.
Wastage and pilferage, all those funny things. So it makes
Yeah,
it
and
quite
then
tricky.
let's not talk. Well, coffee industry, I suppose, is still on the cozy side, because coffee shops open from this time to that time. But being a pub, and somebody decide, oh no, let's watch live sport.
Yeah, so we mainly in office park for the simple reason I used to own a restaurant as well in Greenside, and I would work at the coffee shop in the morning from 7 till 5, and then drive my car to Greenside and work there from 5 until we close, whenever that was. Weekdays great, 10 o'clock, but weekends 12, 1, 2, 3 o'clock, 7 days a week, and that killed me. So at the moment, the more corporate gig works well for me. So I've got weekends and a life. Otherwise, because in the long term, I didn't think it would be sustainable for me to just do the whole almost 24/7 thing.
So you were literally burning the candle on both sides.
Yeah, all sides that are possible. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
But you see, that's where the balance between freedom, which is your order in your systems, and your meaning, which is your culture, your relationships, we have to balance that, because otherwise you just get to a complete burnout.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I think, yeah, definitely. I totally agree.
Okay. But for now, we are going to take an ad break, and we will see you on the flip side.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Grow! Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstownmedia.co.za.
Making a bold statement yet blending into the surrounding suburbs of Melville, 27 Boxes is a realization of edgy design and practical implementation. A radical departure from the shopping malls of our generation, yet not a return to the high streets of our youth. 27 Boxes showcases the best of a shopping centre set in a garden, surrounded by the bohemian suburb that is Melville. 27 Boxes, shop, play, eat.
This is what you missed on the social show.
My first question then is, where are these hubs of economic development? Which township do I find a hub of economic development? Why must, if the focus is really capacitating the disadvantaged, why must I climb onto
Travel.
3-4 taxis to get to a certain area? A certain area has got about 6 to even 20 of these, right? Coming from Alexander or Tembisa. So you then find that there is a township economy, but the people that are living within this township economy, that are starting businesses in this township economy, are not full participants of this township economy.
For more, go to www.brandlife.co.za.
And we're back. You are listening to the Financial Independence Coach, recorded here live at 27 Boxes, brandlife.co.za, in association with Yeffel Pty Ltd. Today we're talking to Yaku from Roast Republic. Now, before the break, Yaku, we spoke about the business and how it all came to be. And we spoke about the hospitality industry and how you were burning the candle on both ends. Now, being a very busy industry, not a lot of people understand that, you also need some time off sometimes. And during the ad break, we now had a quick discussion about how that's not always possible. Now, a lot of entrepreneurs that I work with and wannabe entrepreneurs, they have this illusion of when you own your own business, it's moonshine and roses. But when they actually hit the ground, they hit it hard.
Yeah.
Now, in your experience, how hard is it when you hit the road and you're not running?
I don't know how to answer that, to be honest, because it's like I mentioned, at its worst, it's very hard. I mean, when I started my second business, well, when I had my first business, that I was forced out of my first business, so that was quite difficult. And then the second one, I had some challenges with my business partner. And the third one, my coffee shops, I had to beg, borrow, and steal money from family just to float. And I maxed out all my credit cards and I had to make it work. So they were some very difficult times for my wife and I, having to deal with a lot of complexities around floating the business and running it. And due to maybe a lack of finances, having to do everything ourselves. It's rougher. But I'm in a way, I can't say yet that I'm grateful for everything that has happened. I'm not there yet, but I've learned a lot. I think I've grown as an individual quite a bit. But it's the only way we learn is through pain, mostly, as human beings. So it's not a bad thing per se. In the moment, it was tough and hard and difficult, but I'm not the. I do think there's some value in that as well. It kind of forces you to grow and mature, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense to me. Don't you worry. Now, if you're to look back over all your experiences, from growing up on the farm, selling at the farmers market, your previous 2 businesses, now with the coffee shops, what would you say is the biggest lesson that you learned personally in your personal growth?
Sure. I would say the biggest lesson for me that I've learned was, sounds cocky possibly, but to believe in myself. So my first business, I was forced out because I had the wording was a lack of business acumen. That was the wording that they fired me with, or forced me out with, in inverted commas. And that created a lot of self-doubt. So I had 2 masters. I was quite successful. I was busy doing my doctors at that stage, so I didn't think of myself as being inept or not having acumen. But a lot of self-doubt followed that, thinking that maybe I'm not quite good enough to do this, or trying to reinvent myself or figure out what is this that I'm doing at the moment. And also, which resulted in me getting partners on board post the first issue, that I thought maybe I need extra people to help me do this. And so far, almost every partnership has gone kind of south, where you kind of rely on them being the messiah. They will figure this out with you. And then at the end of the day, you might carry them a bit more, or you might you might pick up the slack that you expected them to do, and that sometimes puts you in a very difficult situation as well. So I think to believe in myself was, and still is, a big learning for me, is that I can also do the things that I sometimes try to wish other people can do on my behalf or in the business. So I think for me that's been one of the biggest things, but staying true to that. So I still believe in partnerships. I think one can go further together versus by yourself.
Yes.
And so that's a value thing for me. So regardless of the fact that I've had some very dodgy and difficult partnerships, not trying to make myself smaller and try and then doubt every person's intention and not trust again. So I still very much believe in partnerships and do want to trust people going forward. So kind of believing yourself, trusting yourself, being true to that, I think that for me is was and is still a big learning that I'm learning more and more.
It's still a big learning curve that you're still busy riding.
Yeah.
I think in all aspects of life, there's some lessons that we continue to go through and go through and go through until we eventually get to that aha moment and realize, this is actually what it's all about.
And also realizing that everything in life is a risk. I mean, as human beings, we are risk averse. So we don't want to take the leap. We don't want to jump. We don't want to try. We don't want to love. And sometimes I think embedded in that which is the life we know is risk. Getting out of bed in the morning is risky. A car can trample you, you can be on a bus, you can fall off a step and hit your head. I mean, life is risky.
Exactly.
So making peace with the fact that I believe that putting yourself out there is a lot of what life is all about.
Well, if I can quote Tony Robbins, and I must just remember his wording, he stated that, or he states on an often basis, that the amount of risk you are willing to take is a true reflection of where your life is going to go.
Sure.
That if you not willing to move out of the comfort zone and take that additional risk, you're never going to move forward within your life. And that's what I find with a lot of my coachees, is that a lot of the time something adverse happened in their life. Like you, for instance, had the incidents with partners, and then they have that self-doubt, and they struggle to get past that self-doubt. And also, especially with all the work that I do with previously abused individuals, is that self-doubt is a core issue with a lot of people. And I think it also comes from the fact of how our schooling system works, that you either have to do it precisely the way you are trained to do it, otherwise you fail.
Yeah, so I think that's interesting. I don't know too much about the schooling system, so I won't give myself out as an expert in that. But one of my favorite authors writes, in life we either transmit pain or we transform it. And I think that's a big learning as well, that if we get stuck in our pain and our hurt, then that defines us. And then we transmit that onto other people. We project that. They become a victim of our victimhood, if that makes sense. Or we allow the pain to transform us. Many a great initiative or individual has come out of great pain. And I think that's, in my opinion, a truth that we need to recognize and, in a way, teach people that pain is normal. We don't like it. But pain is part of what it means to be human in many ways.
Well, we were all sent here to, one, for a purpose, two, to be witness, and three, to endure long suffering. Now, whether you become a narcissist and you transmit your own pain onto everybody else, or you change that pain into helping and serving others, that's where the big difference comes in. And I think a lot of people get stuck on that specific point.
Yeah.
Now, Jaco, if I have to ask you, what is your long-term goal with Coffee Republic? Roast Republic, sorry. With Roast Republic.
I would, so if I have to be cocky again and hopeful, then
Oh, no, please, go for it.
So if I can sell another 1.5 tons of coffee each month through the roastery, then we can carry our charity fully, all the operating expenses on a monthly basis. So that would be phenomenal. If I was able to sell more coffee, that releases our charity to do more of the work they need to do. At the moment, they do a lot of fundraising. That takes, I think last time we said between 30 and 40% of their time, just to keep the benefactors happy, and to make sure that they comply with reports and what and jump through hoops.
Yeah, administration, red tape.
Yeah, so to be able to do that, for me, that would be fantastic. That would be a huge win. Yeah, and to roll out another few shops, that would be quite a lot of fun. A few years back, we said we wanted to have 40 in 5 years. So that was 2022, I think. So that could be fun as well, to see how many shops we can roll out in the future. Yeah, but for the moment, my biggest win would be if we were able to just sell more coffee to fund our charity.
No, brilliant. Selling more coffee, and there I can help you with.
Awesome.
Where can people get hold of you to buy coffee?
The best way is to get me online, viva@roastrepublic.co.za. That's our inquiry portal that people can use, and then we can send you coffee anywhere in the country, wherever you need.
And that's anywhere nationally.
Yeah. It's a lot easier, obviously, in Gauteng. Then they're a lot quicker. But yeah, available through that portal.
And website where people go and go look up your...
www.roastrepublic.co.za. That's our website. Due for upgrade, though, if I may be honest. So the next 2 months we'll redo the whole website and put all the different sites on it as well.
And you're going to put all the shop locations on.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, Jaco, one last question, maybe quickly. If you could have your wish of selling that extra
1.5 tons.
1.5 tons and the charity can sustain itself, what is your wish moving forward on the charity side?
So I wouldn't wish anything else than what they're doing at the moment. At the moment, the Charity Foundation for South Africa, they do fantastic work. To empower them to do more of that, I think that for me would be fantastic. I've seen the benefit of their work in the sites that I've been so far, and I hear the stories. So I'm sold out that they are the right people to connect with. They're the real deal. So for me, I wouldn't wish anything else, just to see more of that, of what they're doing already. They've got a great process in which they engage young kids. I mean, they start off with sport as a great way to connect in communities and help them to connect with them on a personal level. And then they support them with as first-time internet users, first-time computer users. They do employability skills, life skills development, and then also micro-enterprise development. So they've got a whole developmental circle that they work with that I think is very helpful. So more of that would be phenomenal. They're great people. You can check them out on youthzones.co.za. They do great work.
Fantastic. Now, it has been absolutely a pleasure having you here. And just for everybody, that was Jaco from Roast Republic. Yeah. And you have been listening to the Financial Independence Coach, brought to you by brandslife.co.za and Yeffel Pty Ltd, recorded live here at 27 Boxes. So from me and Jaco, for this week, I say shalom.
Live from 27 Boxes in the heart of Melville, this is brandlive.co.za.